How's it going, everybody? I'm back with another deep dive into an old bodybuilding magazine. This one, I have to wonder how many of you have even heard of this one. I only have one issue. It's called Testosterone magazine, and there's no date on it. I mean, it was, well, no year, but yeah, so no month either. Just noticing that. Yeah, but it's from around like 2002, 2003, something like that. Testosterone, muscle with attitude. And on the cover here, it has this: escalating density training. It's new, hurts real bad, and it works. That's very true. I don't know how many of you have heard of escalating density training. We used to call them EDTs at Bodysmith, but they do work. Of course, it's, how big you get is genetically predetermined, as I always say. But if you have any genetic capacity at all, you're going to see a little bit of a change, or maybe a lot of change, depending on your genes. Now, I have to tell you, man, the guys at Bodysmith were raving about this, and it just kind of reminded me of the days of working for companies. I work for pretty much every freaking company in my city, and Bodysmith was definitely a standout. I mean, I wouldn't want to work for them or anybody else again, because I'm completely independent. So any client that I get, I mean, I get all the money to myself, and I don't have to deal with anybody's bullshit or, ripping me off or, taking a bigger cut than they deserve and so forth and so on. And we used to sell this at Bodysmith. It's a pro-hormone. I remember this stuff. And man, yeah, man, this was powerful stuff. Yeah, and I even used it, and it had me punching holes in walls. I remember saying in another video that I couldn't imagine using full-blown anabolics. This was a pro-hormone, a pro-hormone, which is different from full-blown anabolics, but definitely powerful stuff. I wonder if it's still on the market. Probably still is. But anyway, the guys at Bodysmith, I think maybe JT was raving about this magazine, and that was back when I was in the company of giants, man. Like, every company I worked for, I've had like really great trainers there. At least most of them. Most of the trainers were great. But I was really lucky. I don't know if you guys hear quiet. I don't know if you hear my cat meowing, but so most of the companies I worked for had really great trainers, and Bodysmith, man, was pretty much tops. And again, I don't want to work for them or anybody else again, but one thing I miss about Bodysmith was just the standards in terms of information. We really took the science seriously, and we weren't allowed to make up stuff. You had to know what you were doing to work there, and we kind of had our own kind of system of checks and balances in the form of a head trainer. And I don't know how many gyms do this, but we had a head trainer, and the guy was named Dan. I can say his name is Dan Barlow. There's nothing negative I could say about him. So that was his name. The guy was the head trainer because he had the most education. I think he had a master's degree in kinesiology. It may have been exercise physiology, but I'm leaning toward kinesiology. And for those who don't know, kinesiology is the science of human movement. So he was the head trainer. You had to be screened by him before you could even get the job. And like I said, if you, had a shoddy routine, with stupid program design, exercises in the wrong order, You know, if you let people get away with shoddy form, you will get called out. And yeah, so I really miss those days, you know, because what is the Dickles, a lifelong virgin, has reportedly been waiting for the perfect woman since high school graduation in 1989. Jim Hottie not hot enough. All right. But anyway, you would get called out if you didn't know what you were doing. And I miss that system of checks and balances. I mean, because now being completely independent, you know, I don't have like great trainers to be inspired by. I mean, there are, you know, some, but you have to seek high and low, you know. But you know, when I say there are some, I'm talking about on the internet. You know, there are some, and I remember we used to sell. Sorry for going all over the place, but we used to sell this at Bodysmith too. Yeah, Tribex. There's Tribulus and Avena Sativa, I believe. But anyway, you know, you have to kind of sludge through all the bad information to find anything worth listening to, anything inspiring. But as I've complained about multitude of times, most of the people, the vast majority of so-called fitness influencers don't know shit. You know, and at Bodysmith, I mean, there was just so much to be inspired by and so many knowledgeable guys. And again, I could say the same thing about every company I've worked for, but Bodysmith in particular. And Dan definitely was a great trainer. I learned a lot from him. And like I said, he was the head trainer, had the most education, and he held everybody to that standard, you know, and you just aren't going to get that on the internet. You know, there is no checks and balances. You know, people can make up whatever bullshit that they want. You know, best exercises based on science, the best back routine based on science, the best bicep routine based on science. It's bullshit, and I can prove it. The reason it's bull is because, all right, say you do stumble upon some perfect, you know, routine, biceps, chest, back. It's perfect according to science. All right. What difference does it make when you're going to have to deviate from it eventually anyway? All right, because in the fitness industry, in the real fitness industry, not the internet, but the real fitness industry, we had a saying. It went like this: everything works, but nothing works forever. I'm going to repeat that. Everything works, but nothing works forever. All right, so what that means is eventually, in order to keep challenging your somatic nervous system, you're going to have to deviate from whatever you do anyway. Okay, you're going to have to change it. You can't just do the same routine all the time. So if this back routine or this chest routine or this bicep routine is so freaking perfect, then hey, you just learn one routine and you do it for the rest of your life. All right, and that's like sitting in the same spot on your couch. All right, eventually you're going to put a dent in that spot and you're going to want to switch the cushions around, you know, because you can't just sit in the same spot. You'll put a dent. This is why you have to shift your mattress. If you lay on the same spot on your mattress, you're going to end up with a dent. And to prolong the life of it, you want to turn the mattress around so you're not laying in that dent all the time, making that, you know, reinforcing that indentation, that dent. So that's why there's just no such thing as a perfect routine or a perfect whatever, a perfect chest workout, a perfect ab routine, according to science. Those drive me crazy because it's nonsense. There's no such thing. All right, everything works, but nothing works forever. So I really miss that about Bodysmith, you know, being amongst people whose opinions I could trust. You know, and this is how I ended up getting this magazine, because somebody like said, hey man, you got to look at that magazine, Testosterone, really good magazine. Well, yeah, it is a pretty good magazine. Having looked at it in ages, I imagine some of the information might be outdated, but the EDT, if you guys get a chance to check out EDTs, you know, just Google it. I'm not going to explain it here, you know, but I've done it 1,000 times, but I wouldn't do if you're over 35 and you've been training for a long time. I'd be careful because like I wouldn't do an EDT now. There's no way, because it's just gonna sooner or later, I don't know, maybe once wouldn't hurt me, but doing them on a regular basis is dangerous, because it's really intense, and you're gonna get hurt sooner or later. I think EDTs are for younger guys, you know, in my opinion. So I wouldn't do it if I was old. If you were, I wouldn't do it if I was an older guy, which I am. You know, maybe once in a while, sure, but you know, you tend to want to do them on a regular basis. You know, so just Google EDT, escalating density training, and see what you think. For you young guys, you may like it. So there's that. So, but also, you know, another thing about Bodysmith, I mean, man, these guys were ahead of their time. You know, I remember when I first entered the establishment, I noticed there weren't a lot of machines. There were very few machines. You know, it was mostly free weight, and just free weight inspired ideologies were just all over the place. And you know, when you use machines, you don't your responsibility is diminished. All right, you don't have to worry about anterior or posterior stabilization. The machine takes care of that for you. So free weight inspired strength training, you know, raises the stabilization responsibilities through the roof, which makes them superior, in my opinion. But I will say, if you're a bodybuilder, you need access to machines. You do. Because if you're a bodybuilder, particularly a serious bodybuilder, you know, you're going to do the high responsibility movements first, you know, all the free weight stuff. But, you know, bodybuilders tend to use a lot of volume. So you're not going to stop after you've done, you know, 3 or 4 sets of squats. You know, you'll probably move on to lunges, you know, extensions, so forth. You know, of course, lunges is a free weight ideology, but you're going to want to polish them off with some type of machine, like maybe leg presses, you know, maybe, you know, just any type of machine based, maybe something on the Smith machine, perhaps, you know, maybe the super squat machine, the hack squat machine. Okay. And that's because you know, you've fried your muscles, your skeletal muscles, to a point where you just can't do any more free weight based movements, but you can continue if your anterior posterior stabilization is taken care of, and that is machines. So I'm not against machines. Like if I decided I wanted to be in a bodybuilding competition in a year from now, which I wouldn't, but if I wanted to do that, I would want access to machines. But as far as just general functional strength and longevity, anterior, posterior stabilization, core strength and stability, you know, the free weight ideology is unmatched. You know, the free weight ideology is more than enough. So that's what I liked about Bodysmith. You know, and at that time, I'd never seen a gym that focused that much on a free weight or free weight based training ideology. That was the focus. We did have a Smith machine there in both of the locations, and at that time there were only 2 locations. So we did have a Smith machine. We had leg extension. We had a leg press. You know, so I mean, if you wanted to bodybuild, you could get a decent workout there. I mean, you know, and you could get your anterior, posterior stabilization free exercises from the Smith machine, you know, because you could simulate everything there, you know. So we could basically take care of a bodybuilder, or you know, a bodybuilding ideology there. But for the most part, it was free weight and free weight based, and very, very functional. You know, so they were ahead of their time, because this was back in the early 2000s, man. And one thing about this magazine, I mean, there's a lot of interesting articles, you know, a lot of good information, but there aren't as many of the pictures, you know, of huge ripped bodybuilders that you get in Flex and Muscle and Fitness and Muscle Mag and Muscular Development. I have more of those, but I wanted to do this one today. But, you know, there, like I said, a lot of really good articles, a lot of good information, and a lot of legitimate information. You know, and like I said, look what they're talking about here. Nobody, despite their best intention, ever does just one anabolic cycle. You know, I heard, I know I've said this before, I heard a long time ago that you aren't supposed to use this word on YouTube. You know, I don't even know whether it's true or not, but I just don't take any chance. So that's why I say anabolics. But, you know, so as you can see what they're talking about. You know, they get into some real information. I would almost liken this magazine to Muscular Development, you know, because it's kind of a pro-anabolic publication, you know, that really talks about it frankly, you know, but the only difference is this doesn't have the pictures, which I think is a misstep. You know, I personally like the pictures. But yeah, man, I never would have even heard of this if it wasn't for working at Bodysmith. Those guys, man, they like I said, I wouldn't want to work for them again. And Bodysmith wasn't perfect, because in a video I made a while back, I told you guys about how we were encouraged to lie, you know, but that's every gym. You know what I mean? If somebody comes in, doesn't have any genetic capacity for muscular growth and development, they aren't going to say, you have no genetics, you have no chance of getting bigger, forget about it. They're going to say, oh, come train with us, you know, we can get you bigger, because they're going to want to at least get some money out of you before you find out that that you don't have the genetics. Here you go. Escalating density training. Don't forget to look this up when you guys get a chance. You know, for the younger guys. But yeah, that's the only flaw with Bodysmith. You know, other than that, I mean, that gym was all about the truth. It wasn't about any bullshit, but except for telling the truth about genetics. I think that I'm one of the few people that tells the truth about that. Is that not everyone is meant to be muscular. I'm going to say it again for the people in the cheap seats. Not everyone is meant to be muscular. I'm trying to create an echo. It's like, when will you fuckers get it, man? It's just not everyone is meant to be muscular. You know, but nobody wants to tell you that, because they want to get your money. They want to get your clicks. So when I see these videos that say three I don't know, points or strategies for getting a big back. I've seen something like that recently. I didn't click on it, but I saw a thumbnail. 3 strategies or something like that. 3 strategies for getting a big back. You know, well, if you have the genetics, but if you don't, you can't. You know, you can't. That's it, period. But, you know, they don't want to tell you that. You know, and I just hate that shit. You know, you know. But that's because these guys don't have to face you, man. These YouTubers don't have to face your ass. They don't have to see you. You can leave a fucking comment. You can say, "Oh, I tried your strategy, but I didn't get any bigger. You suck." That's just a comment. They can delete the comment if they want to. They can just delete it. They don't really have to face you. As a personal trainer, you're dealing with your clients face to face, one on one. not a very thick magazine. You have to see them. You have to deal with them. So if you don't get the results, if they don't get the results that you claim that you can give them, you have to have some type of explanation, you know? So this is why I don't like to lie, because I am a real trainer, and I've had to face people. You know what I mean? And that's what these fucking fake ass fitness influencers don't have to deal with. They don't have to face people for the most part. They don't have to face anybody after they bullshitted you. All right? Not everyone is meant to be muscular. But I hope you enjoyed this one. Again, not as many pictures. You know, I don't know how entertaining this is for you guys to look at, because there aren't many pictures. And it's not like you can like read the entire article. And these articles are pretty interesting, but it's not like you can just read the entire freaking article in a YouTube video. So, all right, guys, until next time, I'll be back soon with more information, content on the fitness industry, personal training, and strength training in general. All right, this is PLA Mind and Body Works signing out. And I'll see you guys in the next. Oh, by the way, please like if you liked it, share, and subscribe, because that's really important. All right, now see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.